should be now. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm super excited that you're joining this live. My name is Ines Kaps, and I'm founder of Women Love Consulting. And I'm here with Maja Schreiner, and she is our expert today for co-leadership. Thank you, Maja, so much for joining. Maja has a intense background in IT, so she knows big projects, testing, agile leadership, agile working, and she is also the founder of the Sharing Tribe. It's a platform that connects companies and candidates when it comes to flexible working and all those different types of new ways of leading co-leadership, all in these areas. So Maja, thank you so much for joining. And my first question to you is, what's your experience with co-leadership and flexible working?
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Ines, for having me. My experience goes back to 2016, actually. While working for Swisscom here in Switzerland, in Zurich, I was appointed to be a so-called software test manager in an agile environment with 4 Scrum teams.
Wow.
And I was at that point working at 80%. That means 4 days a week instead of 5. And after some time, I have realized that unfortunately the time wasn't enough to cover all needs of our 4 Scrum teams strategically and operatively. So I went back to my boss and asked him to hire a second Maja, to actually hire somebody who is a senior in software testing and software development. Long story short, at the end, we hired actually somebody who was a junior. Mm-hmm. And that was actually a very interesting example of co-leadership implemented through job sharing and job splitting, where I actually trained our colleague for months and coached him, and also was able to, let's say, serve 2 teams. He was serving the other 2 teams. And I was also very much able to upskill on my leadership skills as well. Because I would say leadership is not only about your business domain expertise or your IT or tech expertise, whatever kind of expertise you need, but it really has a lot to do with your soft skills, with how you communicate, how you collaborate, how you coach others, and how you listen to others, like, everything around active listening and praising others, a lot about empathy, etc.
That's very interesting that you had your co-leadership role with a more junior person. What was the day in your co-leadership role? How did it affect your day-to-day business?
Well, first, we've been doing that actually for the full 3 years, by the way.
Wow.
And the daily business, when you work in an agile environment, even if you plan things, right, and also when you work in IT, some things can be different. So that is, by the way, what I love about IT, that not every day is the same as the other day. Still, we have had, of course, our product backlog and we had our yearly roadmap, which was agile anyway. But still, we had, let's say, a good idea what we are doing per month or per year or per sprint or day. So daily activities were filled with a lot of testing and a lot of coordination work and also a lot of coaching. And on the days when I wouldn't work, that were, by the way, also my working days, because I was doing some other trainings on product management. So we also would start every day with so-called daily stand-up. That is a term very well known to people who follow agile methodologies, where the whole team meets and discuss what we have done yesterday, what we are going to do today, and if we have any challenges or impediments to solve and who can help with that.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And what did you liked? What did you like a lot about this co-leadership, and what would you say were challenges that you were facing in this co-leadership role?
Well, what I liked was that definitely it allowed us to be very transparent about what we are doing. So everybody knew what my tasks are and what my results are. And this is, by the way, what I knew about others. So this is not necessarily what comes from leadership or co-leadership, but it comes from the whole agile setup. And so what I didn't like, I honestly can't remember now. But of course, there are some situations, right, that can happen when you have, in a very rare cases, you might have some issue in production, right? Luckily, our software is not something that can kill people or create a huge errors, but still it's not pleasant, and it is something that we have a promise to our customers, so it has to work, and there can be a bit of stressful situation. And then again, as a leader, you need to know how to handle that, right? First, there is no finger pointing, there is no blaming game. Then you need to motivate your team to stay on track and to keep looking for the error and fixing the problem, right? And you have to be very positive about that. So you are not like, um, doing the headache and like, oh, I'm not doing well, and passing your negative emotions and negative thoughts on others. Instead, you are positive. So shortly said, even the situations you might not like in the daily business have to be solved and can be solved with a lot of very good soft skills.
Yeah, and when you have a team of leaders, so as you said, you and your colleague who had the role together, I think you also have, double the energy, double the motivation of yeah, the drive of two people delivering this role.
Exactly.
That's really amazing. And you started the sharing tribe, your platform. What would you like to say and share with leaders who would be interested in your sharing tribe?
Well, first, as all of you know, we are living in a very interesting times now, right? Not only with technology, regarding technology, but regarding this funny virus, and everybody is still mostly working from home, and everybody working remotely from all over the world. So imagine as a leader, right? You have to lead your team, and you have also to co-lead with someone else who might be new to this enterprise, or who might be sitting somewhere 5 to 8 or 10 hours away from you, and many kilometers away from you as well. So you really need to trust this person, right? And of course, you can't trust everybody by default. And again, it's very individual how much we are willing to trust somebody from the beginning. But there is a whole set of steps in the process, right? That enables you to build up on this trust. And just as we were talking in me as a preparation to this call, to people who have learned or have been already working in a strategic positions at the company, when we talk, for example, or even read the news about some mergers and acquisitions or some partnerships between two huge or smaller and larger company, we talk a lot about this pre-merge and post-merge steps in this process. And how do you find this partner, right? And we know that in business, you need to find a partner who is complementary to your capabilities and your skills, who is also compatible to you, so that you know you will be able to align and to fit together, for example, your company's cultures. And you need a commitment, right, from both sides. And this is exactly what you need for co-leaders. And this is very important, I would say. And as mentioned, building trust and enhancing this trust. On top of that, of course, you need to follow some agreements, right? You need to follow on the common goals, not only individual goals. And that you have to do some governance and different set of rules, so to say.
Yeah. So basically, what you're also saying is that when a company is open to have a role ready for co-leadership, so a role that is then shared with two people, that basically one of the best benefits for the company is that they have different skill sets for this role from two people. So basically, they have one role open, but actually complementary people who complement each other can serve the company and the team even better because they
Exactly.
complement each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can also imagine, right, especially for international companies or for companies who want to go international and or global, imagine having somebody in Australia, even working in almost full-time position, but starting in the morning, whatever, it's the night
Yeah.
here in Europe. But then this person has done his or her part of the job during those 8 to 10 hours. And then the other person can start in Europe or already start when the person in Australia is finishing, and so on. Then you can pass on, for example, United States. So you actually have 24 hours covered, especially, for example, when we talk about customer success processes. Of course, everything or many things are automated today, but you still need people to check that. And for example, some companies who really, really deliver software every day, they are said to first deliver in Australia on a smaller scale, right? And then check in the real time before they go further. So when we talk about skills, actually, we also talk about personalities, because as mentioned before, it's not only about our business domain or even soft skills. It is very much about diversity in general. And this is what is the main, in the core of Sharing Tribe, to enable companies to become more diverse by having this flexible workforce that has, let's say, complementary skills, but also backgrounds or also mindset. Because if we are talking about leaders, or especially on the executive roles, we believe that they really need to have different backgrounds. You can't have, honestly, only white males there on the board of directors or in the executive board.
Yeah, and so if I imagine I'm a company and I'm approaching you, how can you help me? So what do you offer to me?
What we offer is to connect you to our talent pool of people who work in IT or in tech roles, that want and are already working flexibly. So that is one thing, right? So we focus on roles like, let's say, software engineers, DevOps engineers, data scientists, and also people in general in tech, like product owners, because they are also part of the Scrum team, or even Scrum Masters, but also digital marketing experts, etc. Then we also actually prefer to work with companies that and to match actually their own employees who are already in the company, because as we know, companies are focusing a lot on talent attraction, on getting new, fresh people in the company. But many companies unfortunately neglect the talent retention, and they don't invest enough in keeping their employees. And now, as mentioned, in these corona times, we have a huge war for talents. People are massively leaving their companies after a year or 2 or 5 or 10. Imagine somebody who spent 5 or 10 years in a company leaving. That is very, very disastrous for a company. If this person, of course, was a very, very valuable asset, right? So what we actually do instead is we tap into the pool, like let's say our external pool, but also the pool of the company. And then we see what matches are the best matches, so to say, and that we then propose to the company.
So you go into a company and then actually try to match teams so that they can build, let's say, leadership teams themselves, so that they kind of create new co-leadership roles.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
And there can be also some very interesting ideas behind. For example, maybe you might have heard about the term of job rotation. Like, for example, I work today in whatever B2C team. Let's say we develop B2C products, but then after 6 months, I might go to the B2B that has, let's say, technical or business-wise different products, but let's say the strategy behind should be, let's say, the company strategy. And then there I help in the other team and reverse, right? Or you can even do, I'm missing the word now in English, auf Deutsch, it's like Quereinsteiger. That means you actually, for example, you switch from IT into business strategy. Of course, you've done hopefully some courses and trainings, but more or less you're new to this role, right? So you can even switch from being a CTO to being a CEO or reverse, right? So that is what the companies should really look into more, to really see these transversal skills, and not only in this case soft skills, but really hard skills, how they can apply them to different business areas.
Yeah, and what I see, the benefit for the companies, they retain their staff, but they also connect their departments even
Exactly.
closer, and the people from the IT going into business all have all their IT knowledge network, and they really bring it to IT and vice versa. So it's a very you bring the departments close together.
You're exactly correct. Thank you for mentioning that, because the companies should definitely look at their value chain, right?
Yeah.
And see how they are actually, as you say, connecting people from different departments into achieving added value on this value chain.
And I could also see that they then, when you were just talking about the value chain, that they can improve the processes better, because when I'm starting in sales and then move on to, let's say, production department, I can create a better understanding in the production department why the salespeople are working that way, and vice versa. So I think it's this information flow would definitely enhance within the company. Yeah.
Definitely, exactly, yes.
Yeah. So my final question, and that's less about co-leadership and flexible working. I mean, you have a really interesting career background, what you've done so far. When you look back to your career, and now in that you are so experienced, what would be, let's say, the best advice, career advice you would give to either your younger self, or to any young woman starting up?
Well, that is a very good question. Um, I would say that would be that everything is possible, right? I mean, now it might sound a tiny bit cheesy, but it is really true. I remember the time like 15 plus years ago when I would work full time plus like 120, 130% with a lot of overtime at one of those software companies. And that was, I actually enjoyed that. Of course, there were some stressful nights or evenings, but what I actually want to say is I was thinking, this can't be it, right? From one side, it can't be possible that you have to work so much every day, right?
Yeah.
Continuously. So in that case, to the 15-year-old younger Maja, I would say nothing is set in stone. That means really, again, everything is possible. But at that moment, I remember I was a bit frustrated. And then on the other side, when I got my children, especially the second one, so I had like 2 kids in 2 years, so practically 2 babies. And there I was working only 3 days a week, and my career was really in question. That would
Mm.
acquire another webinar or LinkedIn Live. Anyways, at that moment, I was thinking, how am I going to go back? I mean, I had a
Mm.
job, but it was just a bit of completely different job that I had before having this second child. So, and then again, you need really to trust yourself to know that this is only a phase. And then when you endure, when you are passionate enough, when you're determined, then you
Mhm.
can really achieve everything.
Mm.
And last but not least, to sum it up, I would say that the flexible and like achieving the work-life balance is really possible. So actually, I wasn't clear and wasn't sure if that was possible 15 years ago or maybe 13 or 12 years ago, but now I definitely know that it is.
That's such a wonderful closing statement that work-life balance, co-leadership, and as you said, a family and a career is possible. Maya, thank you so much for this amazing first LinkedIn Live. And I will definitely come back to you for a second one to tackle other challenges and other ideas. And to everyone out there now looking up this video, if you have questions to Maya, and or if you have ideas of what we should talk about in the future, drop us a note, drop us a comment, and we're more than happy to come back. So
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much,
much.
Ines. This 20 minutes passed so fast. Or I would love to have you come to our community calls, talk about your stuff and business. Yeah. Thank you
I
so much.
will.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.